Hey, if you guys are watching this, I would say this first, right? Uh, Follow this guy right here. He's persistent on wanting to help drivers with safety and public road safety for especially weather. And we had a chance to talk behind the scenes. And my biggest thing is I would say shout out to you, man. And in the near future, we're going to be collaborating and doing some fun things.
Get ready, guys, because we're gonna turn this into something big. So
There it is.
appreciate you,
There it is.
man.
Yeah, all day, buddy.
There's a
All day,
storm
baby.
coming, and guess
Uh-oh.
what?
Uh-oh.
Guess what?
Yeah.
Truckers weather and Mother Trucker news. We're gonna make
Yeah.
it big with this one here, man.
Hey, I tell you, man. Hey, provide. Look, I'm very simple. I'm very simple. Provide value to truckers, and
Hmm.
everybody's welcome on my show. You know what I mean? So
Appreciate
thank
it.
you for having me.
You too, man. All right, guys, if you don't mind, be sure number one, like this video, follow Mother Trucker News, follow Truckers Weather, comment your thoughts, where you're at, what kind of weather you might be having, talk about what's on your hearts today as far as trucking news. What do you want to see done on both our channels? And if there's any way we can help you guys out, providing news, information, weather, and safety alerts, you can count on us to bring it to you here on Mother Trucker News and Truckers Weather. We appreciate you guys. Much love. Have a safe week, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Hey, that's good, man.
All right.
No, we're good, man. Yeah,
All
no.
right. Great. Hey, everybody, it's Justin with Truckers Weather. Today I've got the honor of meeting the legendary Mother Trucker, Alex.
Hey, I appreciate that. No, thanks for having me on the show. We've been trying to make this happen, and hopefully we can do some more cool stuff together. I've been checking out
Love
some of your
to.
stuff, and just the Mother Nature and weather conditions and keeping drivers safe is always important. So, we were just talking off camera
Yeah.
about how when there's a big event that might be scary for some drivers, maybe a day before,
Mhm.
that could get real scary for them. I mean, especially when winter's coming up, right?
Right.
I see a
Exactly.
lot of segments when that happens. Then I could you could do your segment that you do, but then we could also share your segment on the show. And
Back
you
at
know,
you, man. Because, I mean, weather, as we all know, affects a truck driver every minute of a truck driver's life. You never know
right,
from rain, wind, snow, dense fog advisories, or even high wind warnings. Those
right,
are the five key elements to a truck driver's route. You got to be prepared for each and every single one of those. It might be fair weather driving, but once you get to a certain point across the country, not always so lucky. So that's the reason why I started Truckers Weather. So just a little bit about me, real quick. My name's Justin Dill, and I started Truckers Weather because the Weather Channel, Fox News, CNN, whatever, any major network, guys, they went to trying to do like more like of an MTV style show, or
right,
the ice road truckers and everything like that. That's fine, but if there's like something going on, a severe thunderstorm warning or tornado warning or whatever have you, guys, we've been in the blind for about 8 to 10 years at least. So last
mm,
year, I decided I talked with Alex before about trying to get it going. It was actually listed as Road King Trucking News. Before that, it was Trucking Tips. So there's trucking answers. He knows Soleil pretty well, and you know, I was just like, just didn't have a whole lot of time with family and whatnot. But to break it down, Ryan Hall is a competitor, but I also have a lot of respect for the guy. Ryan Hall, y'all might know the channel. But long story short, my stuff is getting integrated toward that style, not taking any of his thunder, forget the pun per se, but it's more catered toward truck drivers, severe thunderstorm warnings, tornado warnings, flash flood warnings, dense fog advisories, and high wind warnings. Those are the five key elements that relate toward a truck driver. And I'm trying to do that for you guys 24 hours a day here on Truckers Weather. But, Alex and a few of the other guys out there, trucking and politics, and whoever you guys have, I'm trying to give as many plugins as I can without forgetting anybody. But they're like, hey, you're
yeah.
doing great work. This is something that we need, and there definitely really, really is. A
Oh,
lot
I
of people
agree. I
have a
agree.
certain area that they can cover, but it's not 24 hours a day. And one of my testimonial stories that I got from this year, from 25, is there was one point where the radar was completely blind around St. Louis. I was on Truckers Weather on my TikTok channel, bringing out tornado warnings and stuff like that because nobody was covering it. I was praised for covering that storm because everybody was blindsided. The sirens went out, if you guys might have remembered, during that time earlier this year, and the local government had to take accountability for that. So that's the whole point of doing truckers weather, and what Alex is doing. You know, hopefully we can plug each other in and get
Oh
trucking
yeah.
news
Oh yeah.
and
I
trucking
mean,
weather and make it into something
yeah.
great.
No, I can see that. I mean, here's the thing, right? It's like when it's something big that you know that's coming,
Hmm.
like real big, that's going to be scary. You know, a couple days before, if you know it, or a day before at least, before instead of me just and everybody else in the rest of the world just making a video after the fact of the aftermath of a pile up or something like that. You know,
Right.
definitely let's let some people know about that, right? And so, yeah, I mean, it's great. You know, I appreciate you letting me jump on the show,
Yeah.
and
It's an honor,
that
man.
it's gonna be a lot of fun because this is something that I really am here to help out the trucking industry with information. And so at the end of the day, you know, if you're like Alex, this is going to be major. People could die from this. I mean, it's going to be big. We
Yeah.
need to tell drivers to stay put. You
Hmm.
know, send me a 30-second clip of that, and you know,
I'll
I'll add it
tag
to
you
my channel.
at Mother Trucker News on YouTube or LinkedIn.
Yeah.
What is that the best way to get a hold of you?
No, I mean, you got my personal
Just
number. Shoot me a
gotcha.
text and just let me
Gotcha.
know and say, Alex, I'm telling you, if you don't cover this, people are dying. Truck drivers are dying. That's
You
gonna
know,
get my
there's been
attention.
times where I got place files that cover like Walmarts, hospitals, schools, nursing homes, assisted living, truck
Yeah.
stops, mile
Right.
markers. I mean, that was like a 10-year project that I've done. And, I got all that, synchronized over to protect truck drivers. So that's the reason, again, Truckers Weather was born. So we can bring real time warnings to those situations. You probably remember, I think you might have talked about this at one point, the Illinois tornado warning. I think it was at the
Yep.
TA at some point.
Yep.
And I, piggybacked off of you on that. And I talked about it. That was not right. That was not cool. I mean, you can't just lock truck drivers out of the truck stop when,
Right.
that is their safe haven, basically. You just can't do that, so
Well, I think what's cool too is like you're a truck driver yourself,
yeah.
and then you do have a background, you know, as a meteorologist,
Well,
right?
storm weather
Or
forecaster. I haven't got my
or weather forecaster, right? Let's get
but
that
that's
right.
what I do.
And
It's
then
okay.
no, and then what behind the scenes you were telling me that even your local city, you're doing weather forecasting for the news.
WEAC TV 24. I worked with them for about almost a year now. Yeah, but we're a little bit of a break. The station's going toward more sports, so that's the reason why I started Truckers Weather. But I've been
Got you,
weather
got you.
forecasting. I've talked with our local main chief meteorologist, James Spann. He's coming on September 9th. We're going to talk about, meteorology as from a major forecasting standpoint from television forecasting. How their Alabama Weather Network is being launched on, I think, August 11th here in Alabama. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to helping out Alabama Weather Network along with some things as well, if they'll have it. But it's going to be a great opportunity for, what I've got, and, for anybody else that needs a hand with weather forecasting designed for truck drivers. I've got that.
No,
So,
and I think what you should do, right? Because we're kind of brainstorming in your podcast here,
mhm.
is I would say while you're giving while and this is not just for me. I mean, you know, give this to all any trucker channel that has some traffic, you know, because hey, if you're talking about something safe, I mean, these drivers and these social media people should want to share what you're talking about, right?
Right.
And so just so my tip is definitely tell them that the first 5 seconds, 10 seconds of the video. Hey, my name's Justin Dill, and I work for my local weather channel, and I do the weather channel. This is XYZ,
Right.
and also I'm a truck driver, and also I'm doing this specifically for you guys. And then get into it because when you first kind of get into people's eyes, the first thing they think is, "Who's this guy?"
Yeah, what's my
And,
expertise? Where's my background? Basically,
right?
that's
How
exactly
can
what
we
you're
trust a
looking
guy like
for.
this?
How
Right?
reliable? How often will he come on camera to talk about real time events?
One
I
hundred
don't want to
percent.
pay
And
Google, X amount for advertising like some other people do. A lot of people got that kind of money. I do not. But
I understand that.
with growth, with networking, like what we're doing,
Right.
communication is key, right?
Right. No, and I think that's just like my little tip of, hey everyone, my name is Justin Dill with, Truckers Weather, and I actually do professionally do trucking or I do weather for our local, news station channel or what have you. And,
Right.
and then get into it. And then after a while, people will know. But until then, I would say that first. But they're going to know anyways, because when you
At
talk
some
about it,
point,
and
we're
then
getting some traction now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you
Once you
definitely get
get,
some
but here's
traction.
the thing where you're going to get traction. If you're telling people, hey, this is what's going on,
Hmm.
and then the next day it exactly happens, just like that, then
Yeah.
that's what that is, you know.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
give
what I
me a
try to
second,
do.
I
I
want to
try to
step
do my
outside real quick.
forecast most of the time in the early mornings. This is your trucker's weather for such and such day and stuff like that. I'm still kind of new to doing it yet on, social media per se, but I'm getting
Right.
traction. I'm getting about an hour, 2 hours a day, starting off like 40, 50 views on my videos, which is fine. But
Yeah.
I'm really pleased to be able to do it. And, people are actually taking notice. But,
No, it's good. It's good. What I would honestly start with is doing 24 hours is great, but if you're
it's
able
hard.
to yeah, what I would actually do is I would do like all the big stuff. Like if you know every week there's something big that's happening, I would cover that first before
Mhm.
I go. Because like even on my own channel, I don't go 24 hours
Well, see,
because
the reason why I do 24 hours is I got an automated system that zooms into warnings. This is an algorithm that I did with a couple developers. So
okay,
this covers national base too. So there's a live tornado warning anywhere in the country. It's going to zoom into it automatically and bring the details of that storm. A lot of television meteorologists do not have that technology. Me and a few
for
others,
real.
Ryan Hall and a few others that are on YouTube, have put this together to do that. And I'm hoping that Alabama Another Weather Network will do something similar. But the technology is, AI and all these tools are really developing.
Gotcha,
And not to say it's going to
gotcha.
shut down truck. It's not going to shut down meteorologist jobs per se. You got to have somebody on camera talking about local geographical areas and such like that. Sure, but again,
Right.
this is a good tool for us and whatnot have you. So
No, that's good. That's good. Yeah, yeah. So if you have any questions for me, yeah, let's get into it, brother.
all right, back at you. So I've got a few. Did you get a chance to screen those? Okay.
Yeah, I screen a couple, but
Okay.
I like to freestyle everything. So
All
you come
right.
at me, and then we'll get at it. When I know something, which 99.9% I usually don't know,
All right.
then I'll say, hey, let's jump to the next question.
Gotcha. All right. I'll have mercy on you, bro. Okay. All right, buddy. This is Justin Dill along with Alex with Mother Trucker News. Bringing you guys some questions on exactly who Alex is as a truck driver and as a trucking news reporter or correspondent, whatever you want to title yourself as. But here we
Yeah,
go. All
uh,
right, Alex. So for my first question, it's going to be about you, your YouTube journey, and your audience. So
yeah,
the first question is, what has pushed your first start to start Mother Trucker News, and how did you find your voice in the trucking space?
yeah. So that's a good one. So pretty much, and can you hear me? Okay,
Yeah, I can
is
hear you
it too
great.
windy over here or no?
You're good.
Okay, great, great. Basically, since I was a kid, I'd go with my uncle every summer moving furniture, and basically at the end of it, he wouldn't pay me or anything. I don't know if he was trying to get me into trucking or not get me in trucking, but we were bed buggers for North American Van Lines. And
Okay,
so later on in
nice.
life, yeah, later on in life, basically as I got older, going to college and all that, needed to pay for my college, so I worked at Walgreens
Mhm.
and just working retail wasn't doing very well. My uncle one day kind of sat me to the side and said, "Why don't you become a mover like me?" And I was just like, "I don't want to go with you. I didn't make no dang money." And
Right,
so pretty much he showed his paycheck. I didn't know the difference between gross or net, but
right.
he showed me about like $35,000 gross that he did off of one load. And
Wow.
movers we get paid a lot, but you got to think about this. We got to pay for renting the U-Haul truck, got to pay the guys to load it, got to pay for the guys to unload it, got to crate it, then got to transfer it, got to box it. So at the end you're gonna move 5 6 houses on one load depending on how big they are, and you're gonna net maybe 5 or 6 grand.
Oh, wow. Awesome,
But
man.
it might take you a whole week to do the whole dang thing. Sometimes a week and a half. So
Those
it's
are
not.
those are not easy trips all the time. I'm pretty sure you
Yeah,
get yourself some real tight areas too. I bet.
it's horrible, right? Any mover could tell you.
Oh yeah.
And so I never seen that type of money before. So he told me quit Walgreens and go on the road with him. And I knew how to do everything in the moving business. Load the truck, trailer, pack and all that. You can always get better, of course, but I never imagined about driving the truck. So I had to go to CDL school to drive the truck, learn it.
What year
And
did you start getting? What year did you get your CDL?
I'm trying to think, back in, was it like 2014, 15?
Okay, nice.
So basically, it was about 2014. Went to school in 2013, came out 2014. Went with him for a year. That was horrible. He's a horrible teacher and he yells at you all the time.
Oh man, one of those
And
guys, huh?
yeah, he gave me his old school like 96 Pro Eagle, like international.
Okay,
And
yeah,
I
I've
went
seen
on
those
the,
trucks.
yeah, I went on the road and pretty much it was probably more human error. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. So I destroyed the transmission after like 6 months.
Ah,
But that saved me enough money to kind of go on my own and buy my own truck. So my uncle's an international guy, so I got me in like a 2010 or 2010 or 11 International Pro Star, and
okay.
then bought that used and went on my way. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
fast forward, basically, um, got bored. Seeing all my friends on Facebook and all that stuff, and seeing that they're living their best life while I'm over here. So my girlfriend at the time, which is my wife now, told me, "Hey, why don't you start journaling or something, or doing something as a hobby?" And I was like, "Can't read, I can't write, you know, I'm dumb as rocks, right?" And so I just started kind of videoing stuff, right? I was like, "Oh, look, I'm in a shower. I thought this was cool." Or look, I'm passing by Las Vegas. You can't stop, but passing by, right?
I got a story to tell you
Passing,
about Vegas sometime, man.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
And so, one thing you learn as a truck driver is you get to pass things, but you don't get to enjoy them.
I hear you,
So
man.
they say you live your life, and you get to your life and your job is looking outside the windshield and enjoying it, but you don't really get to really sit down and enjoy it, right?
You're basically
And
just going
yeah,
passing things on by unless you can actually make the time to take your home time at a set location. That's what I would think. But
100%, right? And so I I just started doing videos. So for 5 years of those videos, nobody watched me.
well, it
I
seems
was
like
just
your
doing.
algorithm's doing really good.
Oh, well, these days I just trucker news. I clickbait as hard as I can. The key is, so people hate clickbait, but my vision of clickbait is a little bit different than others.
Not
My
from what
vision
I
of
can see.
clickbait,
I've
right?
never seen your. I wouldn't say your stuff is clickbait at all. Everything I've seen is pretty reliable.
Well, when I say clickbait, I'll be like, okay, I'm talking about what American Truckers United put up the other day.
Yeah,
And so someone emailed me and said, "How do you feel about this Asian truck driver since you're Asian?" And the short of it was, I said, "Hey, I don't care if he's Asian or whatever. This is a great example, and guess what? If you can't understand, then it's a public road safety issue."
yeah, yeah. I agree.
And, and so so I think American Truckers United put on their YouTube title, DOT Officer English Proficiency Inspection.
Okay.
My title was something along the lines of DOT officer records the first English proficiency, test, and truck driver gets put out of service.
Let me do a
So
side question. Has there ever been anyone to FOIA request body cam of a DOT officer so we can actually see that?
as
Have
far as
you
what do I say that one more time? Say that one more
has
time. Yeah.
anyone FOIA requested the body cam of a DOT officer doing an inspection? I know I talked to a couple of states and some of them don't do it. For example, like Alabama does not have body cam for that.
Right, right, right.
Um,
If you
Depends
look
on
at
the
the video
assignment.
that Right. If you look at the American Truckers United video that they posted, my last video, I talked about that.
Okay.
And I even have their link. It shows the body cam of the DOT officer literally calling his manager saying, "Today's June 25th. This guy doesn't," I'm shortening what he said here.
Sure.
This guy doesn't speak a lick of English. Are we supposed to put him out of service or what? So it
Yeah.
was a whole interaction of the whole thing, and the Asian guy, I think it was a Chinese guy, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
But the truck driver that couldn't speak English was using a translator the whole time to ask questions.
Yeah. You also got to
Right,
be able to read the road signs too now. And that
right,
be issues, especially,
exactly,
the numbers are coming down supposedly. So that's a good
right.
thing. I, for Alabama, I talked to a trooper over here. They're running between 40 to 60 tickets a day.
Right.
And putting people out of service. It's amazing, honestly, to me, how many truck drivers are being put out of service because of set limitations per se. And
100%. You know,
I'm
but
sure
that's
it's
kind of
pretty
my
hard
tip.
for companies
Yeah.
in Texas too right now. Like,
Oh yeah. Oh
think
yeah.
about
No, I
that.
agree. I agree. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of tip to everybody.
Hmm.
It's literally like going to a Barnes and Nobles,
Hmm.
and there's thousands of books.
Hmm.
You better make your title and image make people want to pick up that book.
Right. It's all about packaging, right?
It always is, right? So, so a lot of people get on me and go, Alex, this guy just makes the titles always look so enticing, and they call that clickbait. It is. It is.
It's
And do
got to
it.
be if you're going to be successful as a YouTuber, because the biggest thing I went to Daryl Eves' vid summit. I went to two of them already, and
Okay.
what he had told me is that your title, your description, your thumbnail. It's like when you go to buy a new Samsung phone or a new iPhone, you want
Right.
that sucker to look good. You want to invoke curiosity,
That's
emotion,
right.
and anything that you can gather, like like a shocked emotion or something like that on the thumbnail, to drag that audience, because they're gonna like have 2 to 3 seconds to see that. If it doesn't appeal to them, either they're gonna click on your video and swipe off it. But the biggest thing on YouTube, as you probably know as well, is about retention. Like,
Right.
if you can't click them in there for the first, you know, say like 30 seconds, that percentage drops down to like 30, 20% or whatever. If you don't say, hey, this is breaking news, you want to invoke your title, basically, this just in, whatever the situation is, or whatever. Stay tuned, roll your intro. Do not do a 7, 10 second intro, because you're about that time. It's time is money. You want that
Right.
hook, you want to keep them in there. Just throw a splash graphic for like about a second, 2 seconds. I'd say three, we pushing it, honestly. But I've learned a lot from Daryl Lee's, man.
Oh
So
yeah. And so, it's one of those things where, yeah, hey, I don't care what it takes. I need people to click on my videos. Why? Because I'm just the right guy. It's kind of like right now, I'm at Trucker's Paradise. Me and my partners own Trucker's Paradise.
okay,
We have 186 truck parking spots. Our concept is we're taking an outlet mall that's vacant, and we're switching that up and changing that into a truck stop, right?
what is
And
Trucker's
so,
Paradise right now? What is it exactly? Where is that at?
Gainesville, Texas, on the
Okay,
I-35.
off 35, right?
Yeah, right.
Going toward
And yep,
Oklahoma.
yep, yep. Right
I got
next
a
to
buddy that used to storm chase up there, Scott Peak, over in that area. I forgot, somewhere near Gainesville. But long story short, I'm familiar with it.
well, yeah. There's
Not
a
too
big old
far from the
outlet.
casino,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. So Windstar, right? So we're three exits down from Windstar. The big old
Okay,
outlet
yeah,
mall out there, where it's been vacant for like almost 10 years. We're taking that concept and we're changing it to a truck stop. Yeah.
nice.
And everybody that's in business would say charge these truck drivers for parking. We do free
That's
truck parking.
that's another thing I love to talk about at some point. Let me go through these questions real quick.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, here we go. Number two is, how did you balance bringing a content creator and staying connected with the trucking lifestyle?
To be honest with you, as soon as it got big enough, my dream was always to be a content creator. I love trucking, but I said to myself, like, um, I love to go out, interview drivers. I love talking to people. And so at one point, it wasn't sustainable to do both.
Hmm.
So after about 6 years into it, I just went full time.
Gotcha.
And so I just travel pretty much America, grabbing information, content, and truck shows and all that good stuff.
Now, what kind of feedback do you get from drivers about your content on your channel? What kind of feedback do you get?
Mostly when I meet them, they just say thanks because I'm not. Yes, I have partners and stuff, but I don't have like full-fledged corporate sponsors.
Gotcha.
So nobody could tell me what to say.
We can soon if we combine together to tell you that, because we'll be an actual legit business. Like, we probably could,
But
but
you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's one of those things where um, the feedback mostly is like when I'm actually when they get past the clickbait title and the thumbnail and they actually see what I'm talking about, that I'm talking about some real things that other trucking content creators, I don't care who they are, but I love them all is what I mean,
Hmm.
but I'm not in competition with anyone. I help everybody.
Yeah.
But Some of them have sponsorships where they can't say certain things. Uh, Not me. I mean, I don't sign exclusive deals with anybody. I'm able to speak my own mind and
Right.
talk about anything I want to talk about. So, the feedback's really been like, hey, thanks, Alex, for just being one of the voices in trucking and sharing, real information.
Okay. Now let me ask you another question here, real quick. Goes along with what we're just now talking about. What are your thoughts on the role of independent YouTubers in shaping the narrative of the trucking industry?
I think it's important. I mean, if you really look at it, big organizations like OIDA
Mm-hmm.
reach out to me all the time to share their news, whatever that is.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So, I mean, big corporations are looking at, they understand that the independence is important because no one cares about a business. You
Right.
know,
That's true.
they don't. They want to follow somebody or keep up with somebody that's real.
Mm-hmm.
I own a couple businesses and, I own Big Rig Tees, t-shirts and, it's not like I have the same amount of following ship on Big Rig Tees as I do on Mother Trucker News. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
they know it's a business. I'm selling them something. I'm selling them t-shirts,
Right. That
you
sounds pretty
know?
cool. Let's deep dive into some of the stuff now. From your perspective, what is the biggest challenges facing truck drivers in 2025?
Biggest challenge right now is that everybody's going broke. Right now what's going on is easy. You don't have to do anything wrong, but as soon as your insurance premiums go up, you can't sustain and you can't stay in business.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, depending on where you live, you're praying right now that the next time the insurance company, when your policy's done with, you don't know if you're going to be in business or not.
For
And that's a huge one.
what's an example of that?
Easy, just pretty much. I got a lot of friends right now that own 5 to 10 trucks,
Mm-hmm.
and their insurance premiums right now for the year is, let's just say, it's $25,000. But then as soon as it cancels, they didn't get any accidents or anything. They come back and say, hey, your insurance now is 55,000.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
It
That's
puts you out of business.
yeah. And I've been seeing like there was another company this week. I think he had posted a video about that shut their doors. Even though they got a credit line for I forgot how many $1 million it was, they decided that they're just done with it. So
Yeah, it's tough, man.
all right. Are driver wages improving in your opinion, or are we still seeing exploitation?
Yeah, driver wages suck, right? I mean, you talk to any driver from the 80s and 90s, they got better, they got paid better back then than they do now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's one of those things where now a lot of it has to do with a lot of these companies now are forced to pay health insurance and pay different premiums that before, that's a whole different conversation as far as 1099 and not. Some
Right.
people would say a 1099 driver is being taken advantage of. Well, another driver will say, hey, they like 1099. And so that's what happened in California, right? A company called TGS or TGS, they're a drayage company.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going bankrupt. They're just going out of business. And the reason why is because 70% of the drayage business out at the ports were owner operators that were leased on. But
Right.
because AB5 law went into play, they had to switch from going from contractor to actually being an employee.
Oh wow.
So,
All right.
so it screwed people.
All right. How do you feel about the current state of freight rates and fuel prices?
Yeah. I mean, fuel prices, everything, freight rates still suck. I mean, we're in a recession. We're in a bad economy with it still. I mean, I'm supposed to be the bearer of some good news once in a while, but you know,
Let's be
uh,
real, right?
yeah, the realness of it is that we're still in a freight recession.
Yeah.
It's still hurting, and insurance, fuel, parts, you name it. Emissions, it's killing. So freight rates definitely still down. Now everyone was holding on, hoping that freight rates would come back up,
Hmm.
and they did not, and that's why a lot of companies are going BK.
I hear you, man. And what is the one major misconception that the general public has about us as truck drivers? What do you think that might be?
I would say that they think that we're stupid, right? I know a lot of very, very intelligent and smart truck drivers out there. You know what I mean? The thing that they don't understand is that as a owner operator, as a small fleet, what you're doing is you're wearing different hats. Sometimes you have to be customer service, sometimes you have to be marketing, sometimes
Right.
you have to be sales, and sometimes you have to be accounting.
Yep.
And so it takes the whole 360 for it to work. And I've met a lot of very smart truck drivers. And
Sure.
think about this. There ain't nothing to do but think in your truck when you're driving. So
That is
there's a
true.
lot of thinking. And I think a lot of people are listening to a lot more podcasts and smartening up a little bit as well.
I agree.
You know?
Let's talk about trucking and weather a little bit. How
Okay.
important is real-time weather information for drivers who follow your channel?
Well, that's the thing is, I think weather's important. I think getting the attention of truck drivers is hard.
Mm-hmm.
uh, Truck drivers as a whole, people as a whole, nothing wrong with anybody, but people only care about things when it affects their life.
Yep.
So if you're saying that there's a hurricane or a tornado happening in Texas,
Mm-hmm.
it still matters where,
Yeah, absolutely.
And so if you're like, hey, it's going to be, this big old thing and it's going to kill a whole bunch of people, watch out, Dallas. Guess what? Drivers in Dallas are going to pay attention,
Yeah,
but the
that's
rest of America doesn't care.
you're exactly right, and I agree with that. All right, in your view, what kind of weather content do truckers actually need versus what's out there now?
Right. Well, the what's out there now. I'll say this, right? The world has changed. Even companies don't allow their truck drivers to have CB radios,
Now
and
that's a
so,
new one. I never heard. Why would that be a situation?
well,
Because
it's a liability if you reach down and pick up something, and then you get in a crash. Whose fault is it?
that's a
You
valid
know.
argument.
So that's
Right.
so company policy, and there's a lot of BS on the chatter now. I
Hmm.
mean, it makes people not want to be on the radio for it, and so at the end of the day, and the a lot of new drivers they didn't grow up in a space where they cared about that, so CB radios aren't being used. So going back to your question, the digital space of being the digital CB radio, um, that'd be important. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. All right. Let me see another question real quick here.
Yeah, you're gonna cut and edit everything anyways, right?
Yeah, yeah, I'll definitely do some editing for this. Do you think dispatchers, brokers, or companies should be more accountable during severe weather events rather than getting the load on time, depending on safety issues?
Oh yeah, 100%, right? I mean, a lot of them are greedy people. Well, if the load makes it there, they make the money.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It's different when you're in the seat. If you're not in the hot seat, you don't see it. You know
Right.
what I mean? And so I think it's very important, but it's one of those things where, that's what's happening. These freight brokers, dispatchers, they're just like, hey, if you think you could make it, that's almost like your boss
Right.
saying, I know you're really, 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 really sick today, but if you think that you're not sick, if you could come in, right? And so it's the same thing is
Yeah.
two different things happening. One cares about money and the other one cares about coming home.
Yeah.
And so they kind of give you the guilt trip, right?
Absolutely. All right, Alex. Down to like 5 minutes left on this Zoom call. I could either call you back in a minute, or we can just do a quick outro real quick, and I'll call you
Yeah,
back
we
on
can
the
do an
side.
outro, and then what I can do is later on I could give you more time
Yeah, that's
because
fine.
I got my wife sitting in the car too.
Yeah,
So
I
I'm I'm
wanted to
I'm
make it
doing
easy
this
for
I'm
you.
doing this for both our benefit. But
Yeah.
honestly, I respect your time, and also I want to uh I never want you to think I'm blowing you off because in my
No,
mind,
I can tell by character, and I love your character, by the way.
no, thank you.
I
But
appreciate that.
like uh when I was trying to grow in YouTube, a lot of people just want to give me time. And so I was just like,
I'm in that boat, and I get it.
you know what I mean?
This is a
But
big honor for me. I appreciate
no,
this.
this not even that. It's just me with this truck stop project and owning a couple other businesses, but trying to do the right thing for truckers.
Hmm.
It's like, that's why I tell people, just keep on getting at me. We're going to get it done. You know what I mean?
Right.